going on, everybody? Welcome to another Wednesday and another edition of the MEAC More with your boy Chris Stevens. Hopefully, you all are having a really good week. We are 15 days away. No, 10 days away, excuse me. Wow, I forgot about the MEAC Swag Challenge just that quick. How could I forget about the MEAC Swag Challenge? We are 10 days away from the start of HBCU football season. Isn't that exciting? I mean, all summer long, we've been talking about coaching changes, transfer portal stuff, and 10 days from now, we get to talk about the games. It's very exciting. So thank you all for tuning in. Greatly appreciate y'all as always. We got some sponsors as usual. This edition of the MEAC More is sponsored by, no, not that. That's another slide. That's the slide I'm looking for. HBCU Sports 101, a guide to understanding Black college athletics by our boss man, Ken Rashad. That book is out now. That book is doing numbers, and you should go get yourself a copy. And if you want Ken to sign a copy, even though I've warned Ken, don't get that carpal tunnel because you don't want to be one of the people that have that brace on your hand, that Velcro brace. I see too many people with those Velcro braces these days. Be careful. But yes, if you want Ken to sign the book, he'll sign it for extra. But this is a great way for the OGs to reminisce about the beauty of Black college sports and for the newcomers to learn something. So yes, HBCU Sports 101, a guide to understanding Black college athletics. You can get it at Ken's website at kenrashad.com. You can find it at Barnes & Noble and Amazon as well. Both of those websites, you can go grab them there. Also, as usual, the MEAC More is sponsored by my music podcast, On the Groove Line. I have had a wonderful run of great guests in recent weeks. I've had Keith Kilgo of the Blackbirds. Shouts out to Howard University. And I had a local band because I'm from Delaware, nearby Philly, and one of my favorites, Breakwater. I had them on. So be sure to go check out those interviews over on the Groove Line. And subscribe to that channel so you can get all the music information and conversation that you can stand from me. And remember when I said I was going to start an OnlyFans? I did. I'm kidding. I got a Patreon now. This is my Patreon page, Chris Writes and Other Things. This covers all of the stuff that is not related to sports and music. You can sign up for $3 a month and you can get advanced editions of podcasts like you see on the screen. The new podcast episode I updated exclusive to the Patreon is the time I rage quit a newspaper gig. It's a funny story looking back on it, but it wasn't funny when it was happening. But if you sign up for my Patreon for $3 a month, you can get that information. I have other podcasts on there. I have writing that I'm working on. I'm a creative writer. I have 12 self-published novels on Amazon. I should probably give you guys that Amazon link too. So hold on. A lot of information to give y'all, but it's well worth it if you ever want to check out what I'm working on from the perspective of writing books. So there's my Amazon link. There's my Patreon. And there's my YouTube. All right. Okay, so we got all that out the way. Good to get all the advertisements out of the way so we can talk strictly about what the things we want to talk about, which is Black college football. And today's topic, if you haven't seen it, you know what? I'm so tired of StreamYard. But yes, turn the TV off, damn it. Late last week, we got the word that ESPN was moving the North Carolina Central football game with South Carolina State from Saturday, November 15th to Friday, August 14th at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. on a Friday in one of the busiest cities in North Carolina. I mean, I've only been to the Triangle a handful of times, but the Triangle has always been busy. And for them to move this game on a Friday night to serve as a lead-in to Clemson, Louisville, who cares about Dabo Swinney that damn much? I sure don't. And I can tell you that a lot of people in the HBCU space don't care for this either because I wrote a column about it. And when I write columns, I usually write them looking through my fingers and posting them because I know a lot of people have different ideas about, what I write or what we write, how people have opinions about things. But here's the column if you want to check it out. It's well worth your time. And I went off because honestly, I'm just extremely irritated that every time a PWI or a power forward tells ESPN to jump, them jokers say how high. And it costs everybody else. Yeah, shouts out to Stutter and Noob. 5 Eastern, 4 Central, 3 Mountain, 2 on the West Coast, 11 a.m. Hawaiian. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And one of the things that I said in my piece was that exposure has not magically improved our athletic program's resources. And it hasn't. Because how long have we had this deal with ESPN, the MEAC, and the SWAC? About 20 years? Somewhere thereabouts? Because I remember the NBC channel, that was very brief because they never really got any traction because Radio One started TV One about the same time the NBC channel started. And TV One just sort of took over whatever black, I guess, niche following that NBC would have had, and NBC just went away. Because I remember Cecil Fielder, the great baseball slugger, was one of the investors. I literally bumped into him in the 2005 MEAC men's basketball tournament in Richmond, and that hurt. I wasn't a little dude then, but Cecil Fielder was a big man then, and that hurt. But he was a nice guy, so it really doesn't matter. But yes, he was one of the NBC investors. But yeah, Radio One came out with TV One and just squashed NBC. But so yeah, ESPN and the SWAC pivoted to ESPN. And to be honest with you, the 20 years has been in service. It just hasn't really been a profitable relationship, in my opinion. I mean, granted, we have the Celebration Bowl, and this is coming from a dude who was staunchly against the Celebration Bowl. I hated it. I hated the Celebration Bowl. I said, we should be competing for national championships. I said, this is like taking us out of the game to dance in front of a national audience. But then when I started seeing the numbers, I was like, all right, let me shut up. Because the first bowl game of the year, it's on ABC. We're the first ones. And the money, the money doesn't lie. Each conference gets a mill. And that can help for something. It may not help every problem, but it will help some problem. But I think the Celebration Bowl is honestly the only thing that is keeping this MEAC SWAC partnership with them together, because the coverage has always been terrible. Shout out to Stutter and Noob again. BT had better coverage than the ESPN had today. Yeah, BT was doing a great job. Bob Johnson, until he sort of started shenaniganing around on Sheila, BET was a great place to be for everything black. Now we got BET's CEO talking about, we're not going to have the Soul Train Awards or the Hip Hop Awards this year. That's another story for another podcast. But just watching ESPN move our games around to appease whoever has the more money and can say, all right, we want this time slot, and we need this to get this time slot. And ESPN says, yes, right away. Yeah, we'll get that. We'll get right on that for you. Very annoying. Because Trey Oliver has one less day to prepare. Shannon Berry has one less day to prepare. And both of these teams have football games on a Saturday before that. So that is one less day of rest. That is, for South Carolina State, either Wednesday or Thursday becomes a travel. Probably Thursday becomes a travel day. It probably would have been like Friday morning. They would have been able to get away with it like Thursday night, Friday morning. But it probably ended up being like Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, somewhere thereabouts. So that means you play a game on Saturday. You give your guys rest on Sunday. You walk through like Monday, Tuesday. Then Wednesday, you guys start getting ready to go. If you're South Carolina State, if you're Central, Central does have like one more day because, of course, their kids don't have to go anywhere because they're hosting the game. But it just knocks everything back. It just knocks your rhythm off. And to their credit, Coach Oliver and Coach Berry are not going to make excuses. They're not the kind of guys to make excuses. So they may privately be ticked off about it, but being the coaches, the geniuses that they are, the the dudes who are savvy, they're not going to just come out and start complaining and say, oh, ESPN put us in a bad spot, so we're not going to play our best game. They're going to be irritated behind closed doors. They're like, nah, we're going to show up. We're going to play. We're going to give people a show. And I respect them for that. But for the rest of us, we're going to complain about it loudly, very loudly. And it's funny you say this, Lawrence, because I looked at our Facebook page when we posted my column, and a Central alum said, now because of this time change and date change, I can't go to the game. Yeah. A game that would have gotten 10,000 easy might get 2/3 of that, maybe. I mean, granted, Central has a wonderful student base. So it wouldn't surprise me if Central student base showed up in full, but you still needed alumni. You still need local participation. And who's driving from anywhere in North Carolina to Durham to get to a 5 p.m. game? Because who's going to call off work early for that? I mean, if you can, if you got that stroke, go for it. I mean, I salute you. But there are a lot of people who are just getting off of work at 5 o'clock. And then you got to factor in, you got to go home, change out your work clothes, get yourself refreshed, get back in the car, deal with traffic, find somewhere to park, then go up to the front gate, pay your ticket, pay your money for your ticket, or get your ticket scanned or whatever, then go find your seat. Attendance is absolutely going to be crunched. Make no mistake about it. And that that sucks for, Central and South Carolina State, because this is the game that will likely determine who goes to Atlanta. And I mean, this isn't a slight against anyone else in the MEAC. I think Morgan State has a good team. I think Mike Vick's Norfolk State Spartans are going to be better than expected. We'll talk about them in a minute. I even think Howard's going to be better this year. But North Carolina Central and South Carolina State are the two biggest dogs in the yard right now. The biggest dog and the biggest eagle. You get the picture. But a game of that magnitude, at 5 o'clock on a Friday, who's going to be watching? Can anybody tell me who's going to be watching that game at 5 p.m. on a Friday? You can't. It's just it makes no sense. And it comes back to that whole thing, because people argue, oh, we complain about exposure, but then complain how we get the exposure. Damn right, we complain about how we get the exposure, because it's ridiculous. Proper exposure is being able to be seen at a decent hour that everybody can check you out. Like if this game was even if they moved, even if they did 6 or 6:30. You can't complain then. But 5 o'clock, just so they can get Louisville and Clemson on at 8. And if it's a MEAC special, that game is going to go longer than 3 hours. So they're absolutely going to kick us off of ESPN, send us over to the Ocho or ESPN, ESPN Plus or ESPN flatulence control. I don't know, but they're going to kick us off of ESPN so they can get right to Dabo versus Louisville. We're not going to see the end of that game on ESPN. If we see the end of that game on ESPN, I will cut the ESPN logo into my scalp. I don't have that much hair, but maybe I'll grow out my hair. And if we see the end of Central South Carolina State on ESPN, I will cut the ESPN logo into my scalp somehow. I don't think we're going to see the end of that game on ESPN proper. Not a chance. I don't think they could, Southern Noob. I don't think they could. I think that's the part that's going to, really hurt, is that ESPN kind of has the MEAC and the SWAC over a barrel for the most part, because ESPN controls everything. Fox Sports ain't got that type of pull. NBC ain't got that type of pull. Nor are they really that interested in HBCU sports. I mean, yes, they host the Bayou Classic. That's it. TNT, Warner Discovery, whatever the hell it's calling itself these days, forget it, because they just gave up the NBA on TNT. They gave up Inside the NBA. And we just found out today that ESPN is not even going to properly use Inside the NBA. So David Zaslav, you are going to hell, pal. You need to stand in front of the Hague and answer for your crimes. But yes. Brandon Cyrus says Mac has Mac action. The MEAC has rush hour run back. Oh boy. This is so bad. This is so bad. And Torrin Gordon makes up a great point. Both in North Carolina and South Carolina, the crowd will lose to high school games. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. High school football is big in that part of the country. I mean, high school football in the South is large. I mean, we just saw that these towns in Texas and Georgia have gotten new high school football stadiums that will put most HBCU football stadiums to shame. So, we didn't even talk about how it may hurt recruiting, because normally when you're recruiting a kid, you get them to walk through your campus on a Saturday. They get to walk around campus. They get to see the sights, whether it's the yard, whether it's the young ladies, whether it's, the cafe, all that stuff. Not going to be able to do that this time with Central versus South Carolina State, because those kids are going to have a game. And even if they don't have a game, they're not going to be able to get down there on time because their parents got to get off of work first. So again, this messes up. I mean, it's a domino effect. Moving that game up a whole day and putting it in rush hour. It's awful. There's no way to spin it. I don't care how much these exposure people, try to shout us down about it. There's no level of exposure worth costing your product and giving people the best show for what you can give them. Nothing. That's not exposure. That's, if anything, that's the opposite of exposure. That's hiding stuff. It's hiding stuff. Hi, Mom. That's what my mom says. It's racist sabotage. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And you're not going to tell me that having this ESPN contract is worth putting our kids and our schools in uncompromising positions because PWIs and the power fours with all the money say, oh, we want this time slot. It's not worth it at all. I don't care what you say. You're not going to convince me. You're not going to convince a whole lot of other people. And that exposure argument is played because where is the jump in resources? If we were all on, if all of our schools are on ESPN, we should get new stadiums, right? We should get new gyms, right? We should have access to the best recruits, right? We're still not getting that. We're still not getting that. And people just continue to bang that drum when the drum has a really nice hole in it. So you're not even getting the boom, boom. You're getting the pss, pss. Oh yeah. I think this is more accurate. Or is exposure like getting caught with your pants down? Ooh, yeah. Probably that kind of exposure. Not the exposure of I'm gonna do my Blaine Edwards Men on Film thing. Here I am. See me, love me. I loved it. I loved In Living Color. I loved In Living Color, by the way. Yeah, you couldn't get away with Men on Film today, though. That's for damn sure. It's so funny because Ari Lennox, the singer, is under fire for talking about how she hated Bernie Mac's jokes and how Martin was rude to Pam because she was dark skinned. I mean, I think those are fair points. But yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff that we enjoyed as youngins, you couldn't get away with today. And Men on Film is absolutely one of them. So yeah, the kind of exposure that people think we're getting, here I am, see me, love me. Nope, we're getting the exposure, but kind of getting caught with our pants down. It's not good. It's not good at all. Stutter Noob says, what is our lead-in for this game? NFL Today? Yeah, it's probably gonna be NFL Today. I mean, and I love Mina Kimes, make no mistake about it, but if Mina Kimes can get this game some rub, I need her to work her magic. I absolutely need her to work her magic. Hold on, can you guys hear me? Elvis Connor says no audio. Can you guys hear me? Somebody tell me if you can hear me or not. I think if everybody's still talking, I think they can hear me. So, Lionel Williams says it isn't. All right. Y'all, okay, they can hear me on YouTube, but they can't hear me on Facebook. So I think that's a Facebook issue. Facebook always got issues. What else is new? But Lionel Williams says it is intuitive that mainstream sports programming is not for you. It never has and never was. This is where you need to be extremely resourceful and come up with some broadcasting options. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why the SWAC is Charles McClellan, man. People can feel how they want to feel about Dr. McClellan, but that man is brilliant. Very, very smart. Everything he has done has raised the profile of the SWAC like all the way up. And SWAC TV is, even though he said that the conference plans on working in tandem with HBCU Go and ESPN. I mean, that's the politically correct thing to say. And I get why Dr. McClellan has to say. He's a commissioner. He's the dude that's in charge of the conference. He cannot say, oh, bleep ESPN. We want the smoke. The SWAC TV is taking over one city at a time. He can't do that. He can't do that. He can say, we're going to work together. We're going to make this partnership work. We're going to see this through. But don't be surprised if SWAC TV becomes the main option for the SWAC over time, eventually. And as I said previously, if the MEAC wants to get on board with that, they probably need to start working that and hopefully have something lined up for like 27 or 28. Because Dr. McClellan said it took the SWAC 3 years to come up with a SWAC TV. So you have to really start putting your ducks in a row, as they were, with respect to technology, with respect to what you're going to call this thing, with respect to how you're going to partner with the schools to make sure their communication students can broadcast these things and all of that. So if the MEAC wants to get on board with what the SWAC is doing with SWAC TV, they probably have to start now. So hopefully the SWAC starts thinking about it. Hopefully CIAA starts thinking. Well, the CIAA already has the CIAA network. They're good there. And the SWAC has, the SIAC even has an SIAC network. I think the MEAC is the only one without an official digital broadcast network. I mean, they do highlights and stuff, yes, but I don't think they have anything that can just say, all right, we can go live with this. So hopefully they do go live with this eventually at some point. But I don't like it. I don't like moving a game to 5 p.m. on a Friday and people selling it as exposure. It's BS. I can't say the word that I want to say because I'm very mindful of Ken Rashad's operation. I don't want him to get any FCC fines, but we all know what BS stands for. And that's what it is. And that's all I got for that topic, man. I mean, we'll probably delve more into it the closer we get to game time, which isn't for another 3 months. I mean, the game isn't until November 14th, but at the same time, I just had to talk about it because it just literally just irritated me to no end. Like, why are we moving games around if we're supposed to be equal partners with ESPN? We're not equal partners. And we need to start acting like it. If they're not going to treat us correctly, we got to start, looking at options that will treat us correctly. It's really that simple. Moving on to the next topic, if we may. Very interesting day yesterday at the NovaCare complex in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as Mike Vick and DeSean Jackson returned to the nest. Yes, two former Philadelphia Eagles who are now HBCU football coaches. Michael Vick will be coaching the Norfolk State Spartans. DeSean Jackson will be coaching my Delaware State University Hornets. And they will meet in the middle of Lincoln Financial Field, where Vick used to toss bombs to D-Jacks on Thursday, October 30th at the Link. As I said earlier, there was no way that Alumni Stadium was going to be able to hold that game. It was virtually impossible. 75, they say, I mean, I grew up in Alumni Stadium. I went to HBCU football games as a youngin. I'm a Delaware State alum. I covered football games at Alumni Stadium. There's no way Alumni Stadium sees 7,500 people. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's cap, as the kids say. That's cap. It don't. I'm sorry. And it would absolutely sold out quick. So the only recourse was to move it to a bigger location. And what bigger location than Lincoln Financial Field, where Mike Vick and DeSean Jackson used to play together. So they did this joint press conference yesterday at the NovaCare Complex. They both talked about how they know what they're walking into. They know people are going to have questions about them both being first-time head coaches and what their coaching styles will be like. And I can't tell you one way or the other my predictions or expectations for Norfolk State or Delaware State. I mean, Delaware State is the one I'm closely interested in because, I mean, that's my alma. I got the shirt on. You see. Let me put my beard up. Yeah, you see it. Hornets all day long. But yeah, I think, again, for Vick, he's going to have a better time, an easier time of it with this because he's a hometown guy. He is Newport News. He is Virginia Beach. He is Portsmouth. He is Hampton. He is Norfolk. He is, that area. He's probably the most famous athlete to come out of that area. And for him to come home and say, let me give this Norfolk State football program my best. Let me give them a try. Let me see if I can improve them. I think the community is going to get on board. I mean, we see the community is getting on board with it. I mean, for crying out loud, the transportation organization said, we're going to give you guys free parking and free bus rides to the stadium. That is huge. That is a positive effect. When a dude coming home inspires infrastructural change, that is major. So Mike Vick is already doing good things with respect to how people are going to be able to get to the games. Now, what happens when the game starts? That's going to be the question. But Norfolk State wasn't bad last year. They just couldn't score. They had a good defense. They just couldn't score. And as far as Delaware State goes, Lord. Yeah. Been rough. Have not had a winning season since Barack Obama beat Mitt Romney in 2012. They've gone through, because let me see, Kermit Blunt was coaching in. So it was Kermit Blunt. Then it was a dude named Kenny Carter. I told y'all my Kenny Carter story. He was in over his head in that job in the first place. Probably should have never hired him. Then it was Rod Milstead, who probably never should have been fired in the first place. And then there was Lee Hall. Now we got DeSean Jackson. So we're working on our fifth head coach since our last winning season. Sixth, if you go back to Al Levan, God rest his soul, and the 2007 MEAC championship year. So yes, please support us with a super chat. If you like what you're hearing, you like what we're talking about, go ahead and drop some coins on us. Because we're coming out of the woods, but we can still use a little help. I mean, we all got bills to pay. I ain't trying to be out on the streets. I mean, I joked about the OnlyFans, but I did start a Patreon. That's one step below an OnlyFans. I'm kidding, good people. But yeah, if you want to support us, you send a super chat. You can also, donate. Donate by going through the Zelle app and typing in donate at hbcusports.com in the Zelle app, and you can donate there. Or you can go directly to the website, hbcusports.com/donate. If DSU starts 3-0, they will be, I think 2-1 is fair. Because they should beat Bowie. Sorry to Jared Hoffman, but I think they should beat Bowie. They can beat Albany. I don't know about beating U of D as of yet, because UD just moved up to FBS. So they got that FBS rub. They got these kids coming in from, Power Fours now. I mean, they were already getting kids from high-level institutions prior, but I mean, UD is getting Power Four kids now. So I don't know about that one. I'll be there though. I'll absolutely be there. But I don't know about 3-0, but I think 2-1 would be fair. And that would already be more wins than they've had each of the last 2 years. So I think as long as they win multiple games, then DeSean Jackson can claim a win this year. But you got to do that first. You can't go 1-11 again. And you damn sure can't go 0-12. But looking at the Delaware State schedule, they start at UD, they host Albany, they host Bowie, then they go on the road. I think it's at Wagner, Sacred Heart, St. Francis. Then they have another NEC game, and then Central Connecticut for homecoming. So out of those 7, I think 3 wins is a fair ask. I do. If they can get 3 wins out of that, 4 would be even better. But I think 3 is a fair ask going into MEAC play. Then if they can steal a MEAC game or 2, finish 5-7, it's better than what they were the last 2 years. So I'll take that. Anything above 5-7 is a blessing. And it's something to look forward to for 2026. As far as Mike Vick and Norfolk State goes, I think that they probably need to win the same amount of games they won last year or 2 or 3 more, because Dawson Odoms was not a bad coach. I don't care what anybody says. Dawson Odoms is not a bad coach. I mean, Dawson Odoms is the same dude who won SWAC West championships at Southern. That ain't an easy thing to do. So, I mean, but Norfolk State just wanted to change, and they sought out Michael Vick. But yeah, they got to at least duplicate what Dawson Odoms did last year. Absolutely. I have not had a chance to watch DSU practice. I have not, had the pleasure, but hopefully on game day they look decent. That's the goal. Lionel Williams says that is when you have to get in the living rooms of those high quality players. Now I'm starting to wonder if people are going to start having an NIL metric when betting on college football. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. Gambling is going to ruin sports. I don't care what anybody tells you. Gambling is absolutely going to ruin sports at every level. I don't know if you guys watch the WNBA. I'm a huge WNBA fan. So, I follow the teams. I follow a few players on Instagram, and most of the time in the comments, it's these degenerate gamblers saying, "Oh, you cost me my ticket. You cost me this." Who gives about your ticket, buddy? Nobody. Call the hotline. Leave these athletes and the teams alone. Nobody told you to gamble your money away. That's your stupidity. But yes, I do think gambling is absolutely going to ruin sports. Hands down. Make no mistake about it. It's something that just does not curl over for me. Especially since they're still prosecuting athletes for gambling ties. So you can say, so it's so funny that Terry Rozier is under investigation for this ticket. And now, here's our betting expert with who you can expect to hit a home run tonight in Major League Baseball. Does that make any sense to you? Doesn't make any sense to me. So, I mean, gambling and betting is absolutely, and wagering is absolutely going to ruin sports. I don't care what anybody says. It looks bad because not only are these dudes harassing players virtually, they'll probably start harassing people in person because these type of people don't know anything about boundaries. So I fear for a lot of athletes and teams with these degenerate gamblers just throwing their money away because they feel like they can hit a quick lick. But yeah, like going back to Lionel's point, it wouldn't surprise me if an NIL metric does become part of the gambling shenanigans. Whatever. It's all bad. It is all bad. I don't care what anyone says. Shout out to WSSU Ram Nation checking in. CIAA hit the HBCU network thing first. Yep, they did. They did. So I think it's important going back to that point really, really quickly that these HBCU conferences, I mean, we already saw that the NCAA 4 are starting to pair together, but we need to get the HBCUAC involved because even though they're an NAIA conference, they still could face some of the same shenanigans and they can still use the support. But I hope that we start looking at our options to be, self-sufficient sooner rather than later, because the NCAA is not going to last very long under this structure. I can guarantee you that, because the Power 4 schools, the ones that are always in the hunt for national football championships, are going to say, "Nah, we don't want to split with them no more. Let them feed for themselves. We want to start our own super league." And who's going to stop them? Certainly not the current legislation. Certainly not the tangerine tinted tyrant. If the ACC, the Big Ten, SEC, and is it the Big 12? Is it the Big 12? I think it's the Big 12. Whichever one of the Midwest conferences, man. But if the Power 4 say, bleep y'all, we going off and starting our own thing, what's the NCAA going to do? They going to slap them on the wrist? Because they ain't been slapping them on the wrist. They ain't about to start now. So every conference should start thinking about what every athletic program in this country start thinking about what they're going to do moving forward. Because there's going to be a time in the future when those Power 4s say, you're going to flip those folks flip everybody else the middle finger and say, y'all on your own. And then what? So the MEAC and SWAC and the CIAA, SIAC cannot afford to get caught with their pants down. They got to start figuring something out sooner rather than later. So, yeah, but going back to Mike Vick and DeSean Jackson, I'm very interested to see how this goes. I won't be able to see Mike Vick's debut against Towson because, of course, I'll be at UDDSU. But I think if either one of those guys, if both of them can have a season that is not an embarrassment. Well, Norfolk State wasn't embarrassing last year. Delaware State's been embarrassing. But Delaware State absolutely needs to win more than one game this year. They probably need to win 3 or 4. And like I said, those first 7, I think 3 is a fair ask. And if they can get 1 or 2 MEAC games, even better. But they have to do something. They cannot go 1-11 again. They cannot. Brandon Cyrus said, gambling, especially with the phone, is the digital pipe. There are a bunch of dudes looking like Chris Rock from New Jack City. It just keep calling me, man. It just keep calling me. I mean, call the hotline. But leave these athletes alone. They're out there playing a game. If you want to be stupid enough to bet your money on human error, that's on you. But leave the athletes and the rest of us out of it. That's my take on gambling. I'm not a gambling person. I am not. It's just not something that I've ever really been interested in. It's not something that, just works for me. It just don't. Hey, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I haven't brought up Valley. Because, I hate to see Valley suffer the way they suffer. But Valley's problems are different from DSU's problems. DSU's problems are self-inflicted. Valley has the misfortune of being in Mississippi where racism is just about as American as apple pie. A lot of DSU's athletic problems are very self-inflicted. Valley didn't have no choice in the matter. They got the legislature, the HBCUs in Mississippi have the legislature shooting at them from all directions. Delaware State has Cheddar Bob themselves from an athletic perspective. And it goes back years. I told you guys about the time that a previous president wanted to drop the equestrian program, but the equestrian program sued under Title IX, and the solution was to give a few football scholarships to the equestrian team. So that's why DSU football has been bad, because a lot of our football scholarships are riding on horses. Hard to win a football, hard to be a winning football program when you've lost your scholarships to horses. Horses. Let me hear you neigh. Shouts out to Chloe Bailey for that little funny joke. But yeah, yeah. I mean, but yeah, a lot of DSU's problems have been self-inflicted. I mean, Valley, they just been, they're the youngest D1 HBCU. They're the one that suffers the most, and we just tired of seeing them suffer. But DSU can pull its own self out of the mud. I firmly believe that. A lot of stuff we've just done has just been stupid. But there's been some changes. So I'm not gonna, just completely say that, DSU doesn't know what it's doing. I mean, Dr. Allen does a wonderful job building up our university, from an academic standpoint, and athletics are now starting to become a priority again. So, but yeah. I did want to talk about there's two more topics I wanted to hit before we get up out of here. And have you guys seen the glowing reports of Morgan State's Elijah Williams at a Minnesota Vikings camp? We told y'all, man. We told y'all Elijah Williams was the goods. We ain't just sitting here making up stuff about a kid who's 6'4", 270, who can play all four spots on the defensive line. We ain't just sitting here saying, oh, wow, you should look at Elijah Williams because, he's an HBCU guy and we're always going to go to bat for HBCU guys. Elijah Williams is good. Been good. He's Morgan State's all-time leader in sacks from the defensive line. And Morgan State has had some good defensive players. Great ones even. But Elijah Williams is that dude. Everybody was like, and you see the scouting reports and the game tape on Twitter, and everybody's like, wow, we're really surprised at how well he fires off the ball, how he does this and that. And it's like, we've watched him for 4 years. Where have you been? It's funny to me. I mean, it's not funny, but it is funny because we've talked about how our guys get the short end of the stick. I'll never forget, I talked to Steve Weiss at the NFL Network about how the onus is, and he told me the onus is on the people in the room to, look at these kids and say, all right, these are good football players. I mean, they play the HBCUs, but they're still football players. Nobody's surprised that Elijah Williams is hooping. Nobody that's watched him anyway. But anybody that hasn't watched him, like, oh, this kid's a diamond in the rough. Well, get your ass out the rough and come to some HBCU football games and you'll see more talent like Elijah Williams. Just saying. Bobby Bell went to Minnesota. You're probably thinking of Willie Lanier, Lionel. Willie Lanier, one of the great linebackers in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs. He went to Morgan State. I don't know if he's better than Willie Lanier, but I know he's in Willie Lanier's class. But yeah, we told people Elijah Williams was good. Folks, and just didn't want to listen. Now everybody's got to wring hands about, oh wow, this undrafted kid is better than the guys we have now. What do we do about this? You do right by Elijah Williams and make sure he has a roster spot, not a practice squad spot, not we're going to release him and bring him back and put him on the taxi squad or practice squad. He deserves a roster spot and playing time because we've seen he can go. Now the entire country is seeing that Elijah Williams can go. We told y'all, man. We tell y'all about our HBCU athletes all the time. Xavier Smith had a really good game this weekend for the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, he was a return specialist last year. Now he's a receiving threat. We told y'all about him. Ian Wheeler from Howard University, coming back off an ACL tear, had a really good game for the Chicago Bears. We told y'all about Ian Wheeler. We tell y'all about our kids. I mean, we're not just doing it for our health. I mean, yeah, we're always going to stick up for HBCU athletes, make no mistake about it. But we tend to know what we're talking about when we talk about how good our football players are. We just waiting on y'all to catch up. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Southern Nuke does bring up a good point. The people in the room's jobs are on the line. Yeah. I mean, but you got to look deeper than that. You have to look deeper than that. I mean, you got to, if your job is on the line, then why not risk it on a dude who is going to be a fine for you? And everybody's going to like, oh, wow, you really know your personnel, buddy. We're going to elevate you to a personnel director or something like that. I don't know. But, yeah, if he's on the practice squad, he will be on someone's 53 real quick. Yeah, that's what happened with Marquise Bell. He was on somebody else's practice squad, and the Dallas Cowboys said, we'll take him, thank you. So it was like, hey, yeah, Bill Nunn is a legend. Make no mistake about it. Bill Nunn is probably the reason a lot of guys, are playing. A lot of HBCU guys are playing in the NFL. I mean, the Steelers had Mel Blount, Donnie Shell, John Stallworth, LC Greenwood, Frank Lewis. The Steelers. That's why the Steelers have a huge black fandom, because they went to HBCUs and got guys. They didn't. And the Rooney family walked the walk as well as they talked the talk. So that, even though I hate the Steelers because I used to be a Cleveland Browns fan. Yes, I used to be a Cleveland Browns fan. The key word is used to be. And I used to be until they signed that nasty MF to a $250 million contract. I had to quit him. I had to quit. I was like, all right, man, y'all putting money over a dude who can't keep his hands to himself, who's touching women inappropriately. We're done. Cooked. Finished. 33 years out the window. See ya. Done with the Browns. Yep. Jefferson Street Joe. Shouts out to Adam Spencer from checking in. Yes, the nasty man, Brandon. The nasty man. Uncle Elroy. Oh boy. WSSU Ram Nation, you a trip, man. Uncle Elroy. Lord have mercy. That's pretty much it. Money over morals. But yeah, Elijah Williams balling out does not surprise me. Xavier Smith balling out does not surprise me. Ian Wheeler having a good game doesn't surprise me. Brandon Codrington is playing good does not surprise me. Our kids can play. They just have to get over that Power 5, that Power 4 PWI stigma that, okay, since you went to an HBCU, you must not be that good. When a lot of HBCU programs, shouts out to Jackson State, got a lot more Hall of Famers than some of your favorite PWIs. Like the Jackson State draft in 1975, there was Walter Payton. There was Robert Brazile, Dr. Doom. Jackson State was putting guys in the league every year. There was Jerome Barker, Walter Payton, Robert Brazile, who else? Jackie Slater. These are dudes who are like, if not Hall of Famers, they're definitely program legends and SWAC legends. And when you think about how Joe Montana played his best as a quarterback when he had two HBCU guys at wide receiver. Mississippi Valley State's Jerry Rice. Happy birthday, Jerry Rice. Is 63 today. And Delaware State's own John Taylor, who caught the game-winning touchdown in Super Bowl 23. So HBCUs have always been turning out great football players. It's just taking a while for the rest of the country to catch up. But yeah, again, Elijah Williams, no surprise. I saw him play in person. I've seen him play on TV. I knew he was that dude. Now everybody else is starting to see he's that dude. And hopefully he gets a fair shot to make that team. Sounds like they're already excited about him. So yeah, hopefully he does get to make the team. And if he does, I guarantee you he will be, he'll be someone that the Vikings rely on that front seven. And I want to get out of here on a sort of a historical note. I kind of hemmed and hawed about whether I wanted to talk about this or not, but I did want to talk about it because it does affect Black people. And of course, this is an HBCU Black space. Everyone's upset about, the tangerine tinted tyrant taking over DC. And everyone's like, well, he can't do that. He can. And it's not the first time it's happened in American history. I'm going to give you some game and a history lesson about my hometown of Wilmington, Delaware. I know my mom is in the chat, so she's probably going to be proud of me for remembering this. But when Martin Luther King was assassinated in April of 1968, riots broke out all over the country. And Wilmington, Delaware was no different. Wilmington, Delaware was already a powder keg anyway because I-95 split the city in half. I-95 opened in 65, 66, somewhere thereabouts. That split the city in half. The west side was predominantly white. Everything east and south was pretty much black. So when Dr. King is assassinated in April of 68, people took to the streets in Chicago, DC, Philadelphia, Detroit, New York, Los Angeles. Wherever there were black people were pissed off. In Wilmington, Delaware was no different. So there's a riot in a place called the Ninth Ward here in Wilmington. And the mayor, John Babiars, was so spooked that he begged Governor Charles Terry to bring in the, excuse me. Ooh, my nose was running. How am I catching a cold in 75 degree and 85 degree weather? Go figure. But yeah, sorry. Mayor at the time, John Babiars, absolutely begged Governor Charles Terry to bring in the National Guard. And so this is April of 68. And the National Guard stayed in Wilmington for 9 months. The only reason the National Guard left in leadership after the 1968 elections, John Babiars lost to Harry Haskell in the Wilmington mayoral election, and Russell Peterson took over as governor because Charles Terry had resigned. So in January of 69, Governor Peterson signed the order, said that the National Guard had to go. So the National Guard took over an American city for 9 months. It's still the longest military occupation of an American city to this day. 9 months. And I'm sure my mom, if she's still here, she'll tell you that as a little girl, they had a curfew. National Guardsmen would push people back in the house with bayonets and stuff. Like, it was a mess. So I want people to know that history tends to repeat itself. And with this dude talking about, black cities, there was already video surfacing on social media of National Guardsmen and ICE people harassing Howard University students. So if this don't wake nobody up, nothing else will. We have to look out for ourselves. We have to stand up for ourselves. And, that means being, active in our HBCU communities and our black communities and looking out for each other, because it's very clear that nobody else is going to do it for us. Like Dr. King once said, no Lincolnian Emancipation Proclamation, no Johnsonian Civil Rights Act is going to do this for us. We have to do it for ourselves. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of history. So if you guys are thinking that this is unprecedented, it's not unprecedented. And I think, the only reason there was the National Guard ended up leaving Wilmington because there was a regime change. Trump just getting started, man. We got to figure out a way to survive this and beat this. So just wanted to put that out there. Just want to put that in y'all's minds. Just give y'all a little food for thought as we get into the second half of the week. But that's going to do it for this edition of the MEAC and More. Greatly appreciate y'all for watching and listening as always. My voice probably sounds scratchy as hell. I'm so sorry. But you can follow us on social media, on the Musty app, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. Just search for HBCU Sports. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. Level 1, level 2 member, $4.99 a month. You can get all the HBCU athlete. Yep, see, mom told you. See, we couldn't even look out our front doors and sit on our steps after 6 p.m. I'm telling my age, but I was a teen. I didn't want to say your age, mom. I just said you were a little girl. I didn't say how old you were. But yeah, see, from somebody who lived it. From somebody who lived it. So yes, once again, follow us on social media. We're on TikTok, Threads, Musty app, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. Search for HBCU Sports. Subscribe to this channel. Become a level 1, level 2 member, $4.99 a month. You can get all the HBCU sports news that's fit to print and broadcast. Once again, you can donate through the Zelle app, donate@hbcusports.com, or go straight to the website, hbcusports.com/donate. And be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. You get everything that we're working on coming straight to your inbox. Tomorrow, Our guy Jared Hoffman will bring you the Better Than Less Than podcast. He's probably got a bang up D2 NAIA football preview coming for you. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and be on the lookout for his show. And I think Ken and Kendrick are going to do the SWAC page this Friday. So we got a lot of stuff coming for y'all. Football season's here. We're excited to bring it to you. So thank you guys for watching the MEAC and More. Y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Until the next time we speak, y'all take care of yourselves and each other. We gone.